Hi, my name is Samuel Hosack. I'm the Managing Director of Prospect Resources, and a warm welcome to the African Mining Summit 2020, and thank you to the hosts for creating the forum. It's my great pleasure today to talk to you about the Arcadia Lithium project and the exciting economics and technical developments that have been behind the team's effort this year. Prospect Resources is an Australian Securities Exchange listed business, and therefore we refer you to the forward-looking statements and cautionary statements. I encourage you to read them. There will be a copy of this presentation on the website for you to have a better opportunity to read these. So, Arcadia project, this is the leading African lithium mineral developer. We are listed on the Australian and Frankfurt exchanges, and we're a lithium minerals focused business, so we're primarily focused on Arcadia and the materials and minerals that are extracted from Arcadia. And our flagship project is the 87% owned Arcadia project in Zimbabwe. This project is globally unique for a number of reasons, but mostly that it's the only listed company that's able to produce low-iron spodumene and ultra-low-iron petlite. So it's very exciting in the sense that there's multiple products and multiple markets, and particularly with the EV and exciting emerging space for energy storage, we'll draw your attention throughout this presentation to the opportunities and global diversity that this project offers, whilst being fully exposed to that EV upside. We have currently two significant offtake agreements. One is with Sinamine for chemical products, primarily spodumene and petlite. And the second offtake agreement is with Sibelco, which is for technical products. And this is mostly ultra-low-iron petlite. And there'll be an opportunity later in the presentation for me to draw your attention to the focus, particularly into the European space with which petlite is in high demand. Lastly, I would draw your attention to the fact that we have a very substantially experienced team, both in Zimbabwe and in Africa, and with substantial experience not only in lithium, but in the project development space. Arcadia, a game-changing lithium project. Arcadia is based around 40 minutes drive outside the capital of Harare, capital city of Zimbabwe, very favorably located from access to infrastructure, resources, and certainly puts the project in a strong position when it looks at recruiting all the different elements of a development project. And so access to the rail network, the road network, the power network, and certainly access to water and the critical human resources required. So that's a very exciting aspect of our project. And of course, Harare and Zimbabwe is a classic mining jurisdiction. There's over 100 years of mining and over 1,000 listed operating mines within Zimbabwe. So substantial mining backdrop, and mining and mineral extraction is a key proponent of the Zimbabwe Economic Recovery Plan 2030. So we see mining and in particular lithium as being vitally strategic to the country. In terms of the reserve, Prospect Resources has recently updated the reserve for the Arcadia project. It's currently got 37.4 million tons under the reserve category, of which over a third of it is in the proved category. So that gives us a 15-year life of mine and strip ratios of just over 3:1, which is very favorable and draws the economics out of a near surface geological presentation. The extraction processes for spodumene, petlite, as well as tantalum are very conventional. We have a conceptual flow sheet on this particular page, which talks about the simplicity of what we're attaining. The first product to be extracted is through gravity dense media separation circuit, and that's petlite. The second product is spirals and tables, which is tantalum. And finally, we put the product through a flotation process where spodumene is recovered. More recently, we've also announced some very exciting test work that we've developed and finalized, which is the flotation of petlite. Not only has this doubled the economic recoverable petlite, but it's also substantially improved the viability of the flow sheet and given us a far higher recovery number for which it's ultra low iron petlite and there's a strong market demand. So we're very excited about that. It is an ultra low iron petlite. It's sold for a premium. So we've been looking at different ways to bring that to feasibility level so that we're able to put that to the market. As to the outcome of all of our assessments, Prospect produced a definitive feasibility study in December 2019. And the economic highlights are fundamentally an average EBITDA for the first 5 years, average being $168 million US dollars, a capex of $162 million US dollars, and MPV discounted to 10%, pre-tax MPV of $710 million. A very strong project with the internal rate of return also pre-tax of 71%. So payback period on a straight line basis is 18 months. And so this is a strong project. It's got lots of economic support and it is particularly very strong in the first 5 years. So a bit of a graphic there showing some of the annual EBITDAs expected from the definitive study. The next section of this presentation is focused on the lithium market and really what Arcadia or Prospect's unique opportunity is, particularly as we are the only planned operation, hard rock operation of both spodumene and petlite, and that both of these products could or should be in the technical category. So very exciting for us, and we're able to talk a little bit about that. So the slide in front of you is the lithium demand, some of the lagging indicators and some of the forecasts. And as you can see, the upper section, which is the battery market, is very well covered in the press and well covered in the forecasts, and it's very exciting and shows where all the growth is going to come generally in the next 5 to 10 years. But in the lower section, which we call the industrial market, classically this was around 20% of all lithium consumption, and at the moment I think it's 18%. But this part of the market is not contracting in its overall volumes. It's really stable. It's mature. There's over 40 years of sales and volumes into this market, and it's a very diversified market, which is quite different to the EV and the chemical market, which is very much concentrated on conversion within the China mainland facilities. So these are two markets that our products will enter into, and one's a very stable and mature market, and one's a very volatile but explosive market, and so a lot of the upside opportunities will actually come from the EV sector. Petlite is one of the primary products for Arcadia. It's a somewhat obscure mineral. It's a lithium mineral with 4% Li2O, and it's basically a lithium aluminium phyllosilicate. And it's got a number of purposes, value and uses, but its fundamental demand is for its thermal properties. Lithium being having very high thermal capacity. There's a very mature use for over 40 years of petlite in various commodities. So the low iron petlite is really in the glass ceramics industry, where we see cooktops and various glasses used in ovens and high thermal, high temperature environments. The petlite stabilizes the expansion and contraction and enables them to vary in temperature without failing. And then there's, of course, porcelain, enamel, various sanitary ware, tiles, and of course glass, which can be display glass, medical glass, and various other clear glass applications. And lastly, Petlite's used in wind turbines and fiberglass manufacture. So you can see it's a strong industrial mineral, strong industrial demands, and somewhat diversified from the chemical market, which is the EV market. In terms of the customers for Petlite, we've listed a number of them here. To name a few, there's Corning, Saint-Gobain, Schott, Nippon Electric Glass, and Kanga out of China, to name a few. They come up with, these are primarily European and American businesses that have established themselves in the mainland China and Southeast Asia, and are very much dominating the sort of blue chip glass market. And so, for example, Corning produced the Gorilla Glass, which is on the front and back of most smartphones. Schott and Saint-Gobain produced the cooktops, which many apartments and homes have in them. So these are everyday brands and everyday applications for Petlite that really provide that maturity and strength and demand that I referred to earlier. In terms of the diversity, I talked a little bit about the chemical market being primarily based in mainland China for conversion, and Petlite being somewhat more diversified, and certainly missing a direct channel with our Petlite into the European markets and into those glass ceramics customers. So in doing so, we're able to have a more customer directed interface, which is a strength for us, and there's certainly a lack of, as far as we can see, a lack of supply of these technical products, enabling Arcadia and Prospect Resources to meet that market demand, particularly given its really stringent low iron and low alkali needs. So we are one of only 2 ultra-low iron Petlite producers in the world, and one of 3 suppliers to go directly into this glass ceramic market. So some real market opportunities there for us to capitalize on. Being a really low-cost producer, it's a market we're very focused on. Very recently, Prospect was able to announce an offtake agreement with Sibelco, and so a little bit of an introduction to Sibelco. They're a large, globally diversified industrial mineral solutions business. So they have a large number of products that they market into the customers that I mentioned earlier, glass and ceramics, and so they've got a long established history in the Petlite supply chain, and so it has been particularly beneficial for us to secure an offtake and to enter a partnership with Sibelco. The basic terms of the agreement are it's a 7-year term for up to 100,000 tons per annum of ultra-low iron Petlite, or a total of 700,000 tons over the first 7 years. And as far as we can tell, it's the largest Petlite agreement signed, so that's a positive sign for us, and it positions us to really move into that market with our low-cost product, and with the right partner. So the facility, the Sibelco's facility in Belgium, has been operating for well over 20 years, and it's at this facility that the Arcadia product will be received and beneficiated for the final customer. So the final section that we want to focus on is the market opportunity of commencement of production, and really the timing of that as we enter a supply-constrained market. Benchmark Minerals have produced a well-published or publicized growth forecast for the lithium demand in the next 15 years. And certainly, it's indisputable that there's going to be a supply deficit in the short term. However, there's certainly some contraction and there's some tightness. And we're seeing many producers put their project expansions on hold. But in the medium to long term, 2021 onwards, we're starting to see that tightness in the market disappear. We're starting to see sort of demand pull away slightly from supply, and so that's a narrative that we're seeing echoed by Benchmark and the others in the industry, and really the timing of Arcadia project into the supply constrained market around the end of 2021, early 2022, we think is great timing. It's when the uptake of demand starts to really become more evident, and it's for us the right entry point for our project. So we do have and have announced the clear interest from Rosatom One, Uranium One Energy Group, and so this clean energy leader has expressed a clear interest to enter an offtake agreement with Prospect Resources for at least 51% of our spodumene, or make an investment into our business. Uranium One are strategically focused on securing the foreign mineral supply and security, and they've been mandated to secure that and have taken an interest in the Arcadia project. To the extent that Prospect Resources has now appointed Renaissance Capital as our strategic advisors. Renaissance Capital have a strong presence both in Russia and in Africa, and are natural partners to guide us and enable us through the Uranium One negotiations. So Uranium One are really progressive. They've got a clear mandate, and we're looking forward to bringing you some news with regards to progress. So I'd like to quickly summarize the Arcadia project for Prospect Resources. Obviously, very strong project economics. Average EBITDA $168 million per year, capex $162 million, payback period 18 months. It's a tier 1 long life mine project, currently the 7th largest global hard rock asset, with an ore reserve of 37.4 million tons, grading 1.22% lithium, and a 15.5 year life of mine. So a reasonable outlook there. We've got strong exposure to the high growth EV sector and the stable and mature glass ceramic thematic. And our offtakes to those two sectors are testament to our diversity and where we expect the demand for our products to come from. And finally, we're Africa's most advanced lithium project, and we've got a DFS that's been completed. We're fully permitted. We have offtake secured, and we have a very clear pathway to funding. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Prospect Resources, and my name is Sam Hosack, and I would look forward to any questions that you may have. Please note the contact details from Nick Rathjill, our Investor Relations Manager. And from me, that's all. Thank you very much.